This hour, we get into having a conversation about Huduma and what it means and what it does and how we're going to be able to curb or not curb other things in the country. Getting into that conversation, I want to say a big welcome to Ben Kai Chilumo, who is the CEO of Huduma. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, and thank you.
Thank you very much for being here today. You're welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you.
And as we get into that conversation, we're going to welcome you in Situation Room style with today's proverb from CT.
Proverbs for the whole of this week come from the country of Kenya. No one can pass twice through the thighs of an elephant.
Wow.
That's what I said.
You all have a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how does that interpret to you, Ben?
Interesting. But as I said, looks like you have only one chance to do something that is daring. And if you manage once, then don't dare again. Otherwise, it may catch up with you. That's what I interpret. Because how do you survive passing through the thighs of an elephant once and then again, and you survive?
Indeed.
Wow.
One might ask if you're crazy. Good one.
Madness defined. Eh?
Madness defined, exactly. Why would you put yourself in danger twice like that? Okay, well, thanks for being here this morning. And Huduma, we hear it all the time. And even as we hear Huduma, people are asking, okay, Huduma number, Huduma center, Huduma. Can we start from that very beginning and say, Huduma, in terms of what it is and what it is, or what it was originally designed to deliver for Kenyans?
Okay, Huduma Kenya, as opposed to Huduma Center.
Yes.
Huduma Kenya is the program that was initiated about 10 years ago as one of the Vision 2030 flagship projects that was meant to transform service delivery that was really battered and at the low ebb in terms of efficiency. And as one of the flagship projects, Huduma came up. And the Huduma was supposed to bring together all the government services into what we call one-stop shop model, where government services are offered under one roof. You do not have to move from one office to the other, one in Upper Hill, another one in the Westlands, another one in the city center, trying to find a service. So Huduma created a platform where all the government services were put in one open place where governments, departments, and agencies will deploy their services at that center. And once you come there, then you'll be able to pay your rent, if you pay your bills for KPLC, pay your bills for water, get your ID, get your certificate of good conduct, get information about your pension, register for CASNEB, contact help office, all at one stop shop at with supervision of the program, the Huduma Kenya program.
Okay.
Today we have 52 Huduma centers across all the 47 counties, with 5 in Nairobi, 2 in Kajiado. Apart from the Huduma centers, we now have what we call the Huduma Contact Center, where you can call the contact center 020 69 00020 and ask any information about government services. We've gone further also. We have a telecounseling center. A telecounseling center, you realize people are really affected with depression and mental issues today. Suicide rates are very high. So we've decided those who do not want to see a counselor face to face, you can call a Huduma Contract Counseling Center 020 69 00030, and you'll get a counselor there who can help you on your issues.
Could you repeat that number again, please?
The one for telecounseling center is 020 69 00030. 30. Okay. Yeah.
So we're looking at Huduma Kenya as a system that was incorporated, like you said, 10 years ago, to be able to bring in all the services that you would need in one place, right?
Yes.
52 branches around the country. You can walk into any one of them and say, I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, and then those would be delivered to you. What would you look for that you would not find at a Huduma center? Or rather, are we saying that anything that you needed, that government would then be in a position to provide for you, you would find it at a Huduma center, or at least you get information that would take you there?
At the moment, across the centers, 52 centers, consolidated, we have 133 government services that are offered. That does not mean that in every center you'll get the 133.
Okay.
Some centers have some services, some do not have some services. This is because as Huduma Kenya, we rely on the ministry, departments and agencies to deploy their staff in our centers. Sometimes some departments or agencies say we don't have enough staff to deploy. Okay. And some services they feel may not be deployed at the Huduma Center. Maybe they're not frequently sought services. But generally, we are encouraging any government agency that is offering a service to the people of Kenya to come and get a desk at Huduma Center, so that people do not have to travel so far away looking for a service, that they could easily find it at a Huduma Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
The government is on a quest to digitize all services and say, look, there are many reasons why you should be able to, at the click of a button, find what it is. Is Huduma Kenya also into this progress of digitization of services?
Very, very true indeed. Huduma Kenya is really one of the pioneers of digitalization of these services. As we speak today, previously you would walk into a Huduma Center and queue till when you get your service. Today, through what we call a service by appointment, if your free hour is 1 o'clock, you are able to check in and queue yourself and say, I want to go to this Huduma Center at 1 o'clock, between 1 and 2, to get a service. So you'll be queued. And when you arrive there at 1 o'clock, you'll be served and come back to work. Again, we've also digitalized our service through a track my service. Once you go and apply for a service at the Huduma Center, you will be able to track your service. If there's a document, you'll be able to know when that document is ready, and you will receive a text telling you that your ID or your birth certificate is ready. Again, we've been able to digitalize feedback. Once you are queued in and we finish your service, a survey request is sent to you for you to value our services, how you feel, whether you've been well served or not. And I can confirm to you so far through the sample, that process of feedback, we've had over 95% satisfaction level of the services offered in our Huduma platforms. So that is really important. But most important is that Huduma Kenya is now the face of government service delivery. So as many government services are digitalized, they suppose there'll be a gap between the digitalized services and the users. You need people to take these services to the users. So Huduma Kenya is repositioning itself to be the bridge between the digital services and the people, because people need to know what services have been digitalized, how do they navigate these services? You can really sometimes even the well-schooled people may have challenges in accessing some of these services.
Can you give us an example of how that plays out? How now Huduma would be the connect between the service that's available and somebody who needs the service? How does that play out?
Okay, one, as we speak, already the government has onboarded over 5,000 services on the e-citizen platform. And today in our centers, we get people trying, asking for support on how to make use of those services. So if Huduma is not there, these people will get a challenge and they'll not have a first line support. Secondly, there are those people who may not have the know-how, either through literacy levels, but they need support. These will come, though the system are online, they want someone to come and support them, access the service. There are those who may not even have the gadgets, okay, to interact with with these digitalized services. They'll want to come there and they be guided and they be helped to access these services. So at any given moment, there will be need of a face to transit these digitalized services to the people. Otherwise, there'll be that skill gap, which will still be a hindrance to get the positive effects of the digitalization process. Yeah.
You mentioned e-citizen. Tell me, when we think of Huduma Kenya, where does e-citizen sit? Is it part and parcel of the Huduma services? Is it a standalone?
E-citizen is was originally a payment gateway.
Yes.
And even today, mainly it's a payment gateway for all government services. Okay. Now having introduced the 222, where all government collections are supposed to go through. Now it has become also an online platform, a gateway for all government digital services. Okay? So it is a platform. So us, as Huduma Kenya, our work is to take these services to Kenyans. Now, e-citizen is the digital platform. We are the physical face to Kenyans, where we are able to support them either in-person service or we support them through the services uploaded on e-citizen where support is required. Otherwise, where someone is able to navigate from his comfort of his bedroom, he can do it. But you can see the queues at the Huduma centers are still there, people wishing to be supported.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We talk about digitization as a way to enhance the fight against corruption and also to then enhance issues having to do with security. Maybe we can split those and let's start with corruption, because one of the things that we say is like if you have a cashless society or a cashless process, then what you do is that you seal some loopholes whereby corruption would have been able to sneak in. Have you seen that? And if you're able to see reduction of, money essentially disappearing, how has that been through this digitization process?
Okay. I may not be an expert in that docket, but the truth of the matter is that wherever you eliminate physical interaction, person's interaction, you eliminate corruption. Because most of the time, corruption is about engagement of persons. Now, when we come in with digitalizations and we realize that people are interacting with systems, with machines, then there will be no one to be able to negotiate and seek favors and bribes. And we've seen some countries that have registered very big dividends in terms of digitalization process, like Argentina. I've been checking, they made, according to them, after the digitalization process, they made a saving of about $2.1 billion because of eliminating about 600 processes that were manual that are digitized. So there is a statistics of countries that have been able to play to get big dividends in terms of digitalization. I have no doubt that the journey we've started today under the leadership of our president, the digitalization process definitely is going to yield a lot of dividends in terms of reducing the levels of corruption. Already so many processes have been digitalized, and many more will be digitalized. So there is no doubt that digitalization will help the fight against corruption in Kenya.
There's also the added benefit of digitalization. It makes access to service easier. So the physical movement that often required people, case in point is attending court.
Yes.
With digitalization, one can actually attend the business of a court while sitting comfortably somewhere.
Very true.
You don't physically. This I can speak of authoritatively because I have participated in one such, and it's actually amazing. Everything goes on fine, and
is an invention where we are gonna do a very big truck, equip it with all the necessary equipment and technology that incorporate the most of the critical services that we offer at the Huduma Center. So this one, we will be able to drive that truck, park it, people come, they get served, they go. We drive it to another center, park it, people come to get served, they go. But this one is still in the working.
Let's hear a little bit about that, because I think it's a big one. I think it's important to hear a little bit more in terms of details. We were talking about this truck. There's going to be a Huduma truck, and in terms of taking more services to the people, why, and how exactly would this work?
The Huduma digital truck is going to be a big truck that will be equipped with equipment that provides common services required by Kenyans. And this truck should be able to move to far-flung areas or to marketplaces where it could park and people could come there. Someone wants to come to apply for the birth certificate of the child, or wants to come and replace his identity card, or would like to come and get a certificate of good conduct, or the police abstract. All these, they should be able to come there and get support there without having to come. We are taking services to the people. Remember, we are under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, where we want to bring the people at the bottom, support them more, okay? And there is no better way than taking services right to their doorsteps. This is going to be one of the transformative inventions, where instead of having to carry tents, pitch tents, which is more complicated, now we'll be able to go with that truck and park it there and serve people. Yes.
You know, that's essentially, it's a mobile Huduma Center.
Yes.
Yes, because if you're able to move from place to place, you can go to places where ordinarily you would not be able to go to.
Very true.
And with the speed you'd be able to go to. So, you see, pitching a tent takes time.
Yeah.
Putting all those things together takes time. But if everything is in that truck, all you need is for the truck to move and to park. That's it.
And then, you know, when you pitch tent, it means that you've got to be there the whole day. With a truck, you can serve one town and serve 3 spots. Tell them between 8 and 10,
we'll be here.
11 to 2 will be here. So in a day, you can serve 3 near places without people having to travel all the way to come to one spot. So we think it's an innovation that is likely to be well accepted by Kenyans.
Right. And are you finding this because, okay, you spoke about Huduma Mashinani.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the fact that although there would be a Huduma Center domiciled at the county headquarters, that there's still some folks who will not be able to make their way to the center. So now we're going out to them. Will all of these things be happening simultaneously while the Huduma digital truck is still going around the country? Will Huduma Mashinani still carry on, even with the truck in place?
Yeah, depending. No, this is a fairly big investment that cannot come at once. We are looking for funding to do the first one or two as a pilot. So as we do that, Huduma Mashinani continues. But also our Waziri, State Department, Ministry of Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action, has already announced that the intention that Huduma needs to decentralize down to the constituency level. And already we are having dozens of members of parliament who have come requesting to partner with us to establish Huduma centers in their constituencies. Some of them are ready to fund through their CDF and all that. Yeah. So you can see with time also we'll decentralize to further into Mashinani. But even as you go to the constituency, there are still some areas that are very far from the constituency headquarters. Do you know there are some people who spend about 3,000 to go to a Huduma center at the county headquarters to get a birth certificate?
That costs 100 shillings.
Yes, for their children.
Yeah.
But because he has to pick a boda from where he stays, to pick a matatu from where he goes, comes to the county center, and sometimes we have challenges. He's told that you have to come the following day, so he has to go back. You see, so when these services are decentralized further to the constituency level, it will be a saving. Besides, when we continue with our Mashinani again, it will even be a much saving. And our Huduma digital track again will also make work easier. The idea is we want to make it easier for Kenyans to get services. That is the dividend they can talk about as Kenyans, because government service delivered is their constitutional right.
Sure.
Yeah, so government needs to ensure that services reach Kenyans because that is their mandate.
Indeed.
In fact, the other day there was, in fact, it was yesterday's papers, there was the president flagging off the digital equipment that are going to be used by the community health promoters. You see, it's interesting how technology can actually bring the very service that you're saying. As you're speaking about somebody traveling and spending 3,000 shillings, I was thinking of somebody needing specialized care, traveling to go and get that care at maybe at a sub-county hospital, or to get diagnosed. Whereas with the equipment and with a doctor on call, that conversation can be had with the patient wherever they are.
True.
And the process of understanding what that patient then needs can be understood without them leaving wherever it is that they are at.
True.
And they can be directed to even get the service at a spot or a facility that is much, much nearer to them.
The teledoctors.
Yes.
The teledoctors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ben, you mentioned that with Huduma Mashinani, if an agent of Huduma is going out, pitching tent, and somebody can come and get their birth certificate for their child on that day, what stops that from happening at a Huduma center? Because if I went to a Huduma center today in the morning here in Nairobi and I applied for a birth certificate, would I get it the same day?
Yes.
I would today?
You would get the same day, though we have a few challenges that we are discussing with the mother department to enhance that. But that is our target. At Huduma, our standards, we are saying now, we are targeting particular birth certificates should be able to be issued within a day. There are quite a number of centers today that are issuing within a day, about 28 centers. You go there, you're able to get your birth certificate within a day. But there are some, because of a few challenges, where like they've not deployed a registrar within our center, and sometimes the center and the back office is a bit far. So there's that movement. Then there is something that they do where they need to verify that birth notification. And it has not been digitized.
Yeah.
So it takes process to do that search. So sometimes it delays the process. But we are negotiating, we are trying to speak to them and see how we can re-engineer, because that is part of what we do. We discuss with the departments and think of how we can re-engineer the process so that it can be crushed to have it a shorter turnaround time. But as we speak, yes.
Can we stay on this birth certificate issue for just a little bit, because it's an issue for a lot of folks in terms, because it affects everything that you do later when you start to register for exams, when you start to look for a passport, when you start to do these other things. And if we're saying at the Huduma Center today, how much is a birth certificate now getting into the system? How much is the actual amount? 90, 100, 110? What does a birth certificate cost?
I think
for you to
shillings.
100 shillings today.
Yeah.
A lot of people are paying a little bit more than that. And are we saying that, are there agents who are still outside of Huduma who are doing Huduma's work, and you do a little bit more in terms of payment, and then it still comes back to Huduma? So the extra money that people are paying, we can try to color it, but at the end of the day, it's bribery to get something done.
I want to make one clarification. First, Huduma Kenya, we do not charge a single cent for the platform, for the one-stop shop.
Okay.
Any charges that are done there are done by the departments that price their services. The same charge you will pay when you go to the office is what they will charge there at the Huduma platform, but it's not Huduma Kenya, number one.
Okay.
And number two, at the moment, all payments must be made through the e-citizen, most of them, or through M-Pesa. And as soon as you are paying cash outside, or you are giving cash within that Huduma center, then that is bribery. And we are encouraging people, whenever you're asked to make payment outside the normal M-Pesa or the government payment gateway, then you need to report immediately, seek the audience of our center manager and report that, because we do not encourage that. There have been a few cases of agents pitching tent outside Huduma, offering, saying that we can help you.
This is it, and this is the thing, Ben, because because if we can get to the nitty-gritty of it, we're talking about service to Kenyans today. That is the actual issue. That there are agents who are outside Huduma centers. Once they know that they can come and say, well, okay, system leo iko down, lakini naweza kukusaidia. That is what we're talking about, and people end up paying thousands for 100 shilling document on a free platform.
Exactly.
So the question is here, what is being done? Because we've talked about digitization as a way to avert corruption, but the corruption continues to happen on a daily, Ben. I'm telling you.
Including that digitization, we've been able to crack some cyber cafes who have even indicated that we are offering Huduma services. You see? So we work closely with Gov't. Gov't is the national government. So wherever we have such issues, we identify. We ask the center managers to be vigilant of any people who are posing as agents, and sometimes we get them rounded off by police, so that we ensure that our customers are not confused and are not asked to give extra charges for service that should otherwise get them free of charge. So we are very much vigilant on that, and we ask Kenyans, wherever they spot such people, let them tell us so that we can crack on.
Do you have a toll-free number that somebody can call? Because one of the things that I know, when I look at social media responses to our discussion, very many people are still in doubt that this can happen. Now, I know, because I've experienced replacing a birth certificate which is lost. You are given a timeline. I was given a month, but it was ready in 2 weeks. Okay. And I was called.
You're called, that was ready.
That it was ready.
Yes.
So, again, and I did not know anyone.
Yeah.
I simply went and said, this is a problem I have.
You don't need to know anyone.
And I was told, this is the process.
Yes.
And some will say, but you're an old man. If you go there, people will talk to you differently. But I think sometimes our problems are historical. Because there was a time when these services, it was a headache to get something as simple as a birth certificate. A passport now is a hell to get. As for an ID or replacing it, you couldn't. But every time we talk to people who have applied for these things, yes, it takes time, but they get it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it's communicated to them.
Yes.
Now, how do you then, two things, communicate to the citizenry to make them understand that these services, even when you go, you will find a notice explaining to you what the charges are. Yeah. Everything that you want, it's out in the open for you to see. That's one. Cool. Secondly, how do you get them to report these issues anonymously? Because sometimes people are afraid to actually go physically and talk to someone.
For fear of victimization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The numbers we have just given you,
yes,
we are in the process of making them toll-free. Actually, we've already been cleared by the Communication Authority. We are doing the final processes for them to be totally toll-free, where they can call without a charge. That is one. Secondly, we have, at the moment, we are using our social platforms. We are live in all our social platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and all those other
social media platforms.
Yes. So if you don't want to go face to face, you can still drop a line, give the details of the person. And thirdly, during your exit survey, should have someone have requested for extra cash outside the normal rates, you can give your feedback and say that I was served on this desk and someone asked for 1, 2, 3. That's where we get we profile the surveys, and we're able to see the areas that have problems. And we can say this spot, and we tell the manager, we have issue here, we have bad feedback here and there. So we have those things. But as you say, it's very important. We're gonna increase our publicity in terms of telling people that they can report some of these things. But there's a problem with Kenyans who still believe that for you to get a government service, you must pay something extra.
Well, it's a chicken and egg situation, Ben, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a demand, and so people then got into the habit of this.
They need to know that we are changing. Things are changing now. And Huduma has stood out to say that you can get government services effective, with dignity. You don't have to pay anything up outside the fees that are prescribed. So I think Kenyans also need to know that the bad days are gone. We are moving, and they should refuse. They should refuse to pay a bribe.
A bribe.
Yes.
Okay. Huduma number was a thing, right? Is Huduma number directly associated with Huduma Kenya? It was?
The answer is no.
Is no.
Yes.
Okay, so then if we ask the questions about now Maisha number, it would not be within Ben's purview to answer that question.
Oh, for sure. Apart from the same knowledge that we know, me and you, about what is happening, about the Maisha number, the Maisha card, and the Maisha, the digital ID.
Yes.
All these are invention as part of the digitalization process under the digitalization pillar of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which are very positive. So I know it as being a member of government, but it's not the business of
Huduma Kenya.
Yes.
In the next 5 years, we're looking at, or maybe 4 years now, by 2027, what should we expect to see with these services that we're saying, sure, every county has a Huduma center at the county headquarters. We're saying we're working with Angals to make sure that folks get access to this information. What would you like to see in the next, by 2027, using that as an earmark year? What should we see when it comes to the delivery of government services like this to people across the country, regardless of where you are?
My dream is to ensure that we have a decentralized father to the constituencies, having put up a few more Huduma centers reducing the distance from where people are to the county headquarters. I'm looking also, our dream to have at least a few Huduma digital trucks that should be able now to serve people wherever they are. But more importantly, I'm looking at government having digitalized most of the services such that we also are able to reduce the traffic because there is a bit of congestion. Yeah, but sometimes this congestion again is not about the digital services. It's about people just wanting to get services from at the Huduma Center.
Yes, there's still the belief that until you see a human being in front of you, that you're not.
What we are doing, our new Huduma centers, we are redesigning them. We are doing now what we call Huduma digital centers, where on the ground floor we shall have the normal Huduma center as it is today, but on the first floor we are going to have a digital hub where we shall give an opportunity for those who miss a gadget but they can navigate to go there and get a service. For those who do not have data, we shall have free Wi-Fi there. They go there. For the young men who want to venture into digital enterprise, they want to work online, but they don't have devices, they don't have internet, they can get their online jobs, and they should be able to come there and have access to work online till when they have resources to set their own
kind of like a free digital library where you can come and sit and work.
Exactly.
And when will you see these rolled out? Or are the plans, how far are the plans to have that done?
We will do a pilot. We are doing a pilot this year of that Huduma Digital Center. We'll do a pilot, the first one this year. So once we do that, then we're bidding for funds to try and expand our future Huduma centers. That's the model that we want to take because we are moving to a digital era. And Huduma is repositioning itself in the digital era so that we are able to serve Kenyans in a digital way, giving opportunity for the digital literate to take advantage of our digital platforms, but also readily available to support any other Kenyan who is challenged digitally or who doesn't have the gadgets or who will want an in-person. And mark you, by the way, not all services are digitized end-to-end. What we offer. Even today, you go to a digital center, to our Huduma center, we shall take your blood pressure, we shall measure your sugars, we'll tell you how many kgs you will reduce because you are BI.
For free?
There's a desk, a health desk, that will do that. You will get a counselor.
Yeah.
So not all services are
charged.
Are digitized. So Huduma will be there to offer all government services, and we want to encourage more departments and agencies to deploy their services on our platforms.
Have you considered, and if you have, it's a good thing, to ensure that as part of the curriculum, whether it is in high school, primary, high school, and tertiary education universities, a unit where government services is a subject that is taught, so that when you leave, because everything we're saying here, for some people, it is news, absolute news. But if you're introduced to some of these concepts at an early age, you know. When you finish school and you're of age and you want to get an ID, you will know. If you are ICT compliant and you want to venture into business, you will know. So that this negative attitude that we've had over the years that government doesn't serve the people, it's actually eliminated because people get to know even when they're in school and they can discuss some of these things. So by the time they even enter the job market, they're knowledgeable. But even before then, they're knowledgeable.
I think you're right. We need to start this education early in school. And I think the institution that could be able to champion this should be the EACC, where they teach about issues of integrity and how you are supposed to get government services without hindrances. And I think they have a curriculum and they have their own education unit within EACC. At Huduma, ours mainly is our what we call the excellence standard.
Sure.
We have our own knowledge unit for excellence standard that we use to train all staff who come to work in Huduma. Though other departments have called us, they are asking, you guys, how do you do your work here?
It's good to be able to show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So they ask us, please, can we give our team, you train them on service delivery and excellence standards, and we've been doing that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's possible.
Ben Kai Chilimo, thank you so much for being here with us this morning, CEO of Huduma Kenya. Hopefully we can have these conversations in the future again.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.